Good evening, everyone. DSP here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Wednesday, the 25th of February, 2026. A day that didn't go as planned and had nothing to do with me, had everything to do with YouTube and technical problems. Kind of upsetting when you have a set day with a set schedule and stuff lined up that people are interested in, and then it gets screwed up. I tried to do the best I could out of that. I think we actually did have some good fun, and I'm actually going to show you the stuff that we were doing in place. Let's talk all about it. So first off, today, in the morning, we started off with a Level 1 podcast. It's actually the final podcast of the week for me because we have 2 days of brand new releases, and I want to play as much of those as possible. Therefore, we're just going to do DSP morning shows for the next couple of days that are going to be on the shorter side, okay? So today's podcast had one major focus, talking about the history of Xbox as a console game manufacturer and console, provider and seller. Basically, its history in console gaming and how we just had this big issue. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond now leaving the company. What I did is I talked about everything leading up to them becoming, the heads of Xbox, and then talking about what they actually did in their time that they were there. I liked it. It took about an hour to get through all of it. And at the end, I gave my opinions on what I think, how they did, and also how I think the future is going to go with Xbox. People who are watching it seem to like it. I hope that you will. I did put some effort into doing all that research and understanding what actually was going on there and, giving my opinion. So something a little different. Certainly a big segment over an hour of the podcast was about that. But I really enjoyed doing it. I would like to do more in-depth segments on the show like that as more game news happens, okay? So please give it a look. If you didn't see the podcast today, I think you'll enjoy the segment about the history of Xbox and Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond leaving the company, okay? Then after that, we jumped into Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, but this is where everything went awry today. So as I begin to swap over from the podcast to Dragon Quest VII, YouTube chat goes completely ape. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden, no one's typing. And I said, guys, are you there? Like, why is no one talking in YouTube chat? And then all of a sudden, all I start seeing coming through are emotes. And that's it. I'm like, why are only emotes coming through? So listen to this. Someone who works for YouTube, in all of their intelligence and wisdom, these are Ivy League graduate level people getting paid probably like 3 times more than any of us here make, okay? Turned on some kind of an AI moderating algorithm tool that made it that anything that was typed into a YouTube chat in English was auto-modded and blocked from showing up in the chat. You didn't know it because it didn't tell you, and it was only English. You could type in French, Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, it all worked. Only English was moderated, and this was site-wide. They did this, okay? Now, what people started to find out over the course of the Dragon Quest stream was that if you used a phrase that had like maybe some foreign text in it, like you could be like, muy caliente, hey, I hope that everyone in chat can read this, muy caliente, it would actually post, okay? Yes, it's that stupid. So basically for 2 hours of Dragon Quest VII, I was talking almost exclusively to the Kick chat, and I was trying to speak with the YouTube chat, but it was very tough simply because the chat barely worked. Good news here is that we had 2 great hours of Dragon Quest. We now have unlocked the job system, and we already are turboing up and maxing out certain jobs. This makes the combat way more interesting because you're not stuck to the same abilities all the time. There's a reason to grind in the game now. It doesn't feel like you're spinning your wheels in combat anymore. And the plot got better too. Like we finished the plot line that we were doing, and then we went on to the next, and it got better and better, and the game was getting good. So it was 2 great hours of Dragon Quest. It's just a shame I couldn't interact with the YouTube audience during those 2 hours, okay? The other good news, this is the second Dragon Quest stream in a row. It did well support-wise. Yeah. 2 in a row that the stream did well, and I was like, oh, maybe things are turning around for Dragon Quest because we had been having problems getting support for this game previous, and today we did well. So I'm happy. I hope this trend continues because, again, I love Dragon Quest VII. I want to keep playing it. And if people can keep supporting it, that means I can ensure that it will stay in the schedule and we can play it at length, okay? So, with all that going on, I was supposed to have a late night stream that was supposed to be an indies exploration night where people would vote on 3 indie games that I would test, just like we did Monday night. Now, there's no guarantee that they would have been great games that would have stuck and I would have played them longer, but at least we would have been trying some stuff, right? Sadly, didn't work, right? Like, how am I going to do that if the YouTube chat's not working? The whole idea of these nights is interaction with the stream chat to figure out if people are liking the game or not, to learn about the game, and to see if people want to see it in the future. There's no way I could do that if chat doesn't work, right? So instead, I announced that we're going to change the late stream because guess what? I decided to order 2 controllers for the Switch 2. One for retro throwback games for notably next week's Retrothon, which is going to take place on Friday, March 6th. I'm going to be playing all games on Nintendo Switch Online, and therefore I wanted to have a controller to do that, so I bought an 8-bit Do controller that's great for retro games. But then I also bought a controller for more modern Switch games, and this controller is branded to Switch 2. It is licensed, but it's not the Nintendo Pro controller. Let me show you. So this is the 8-bit Do. I think it's called the SM30. It is a wireless Bluetooth controller that works with Switch 2, and we demoed this tonight on the late stream, playing Super Mario World, Joe and Mac 2, Bubsy, and there might have been one more game, I'm not sure. So we did at least 3, if not 4 games with this guy, and I can tell you this, it worked beautifully. This D-pad feels like the SNES D-pad from yesteryear. It totally does. The face buttons are pretty responsive and also have a good feel to them. And the weight of the controller feels like the original SNES pad. So I recommend it. We did a live unboxing, hooked it up, synced it, tested it, and it worked really well with the Switch too. But in addition, we tried the Power A wireless controller. This controller is essentially the Power A generic equivalent of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. I think the only difference is I don't think it reads the amiibos, and I don't think it has vibration. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think it has those features, okay? But outside of that, it looks cool. It's Pokemon themed. It's got great Hall effect sticks, and so people were like, are you going to test it? I was like, okay. And I was like, what kind of stuff could we test it with? And I was thinking, what was the main thing that I had to complain about with the Switch 1 Pro controller? The D-pad. The D-pad on the Switch 1 Pro controller is faulty and doesn't work. You try to hold back, it'll go down or up instead of back. You try to jump, it'll go down. I'm serious. It's that messed up. So how could I properly test this D-pad? And I'm thinking in my head, well, what's the game that I bought that Pro controller to play? Ultra Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers. So guess what I did? I downloaded the game off the Nintendo eShop. 9 years ago, I bought it on the Switch when it was a new release. I downloaded it again, and I played it for over a half an hour against ranked opponents tonight. It lags like crazy, but this controller works beautifully. I tested it in training mode, and I played it online. I was getting combos. I was getting my moves. I was getting 360s with Zangief. Yes, I was actually getting spinning pile drivers with Zangief on this thing, and that was absolutely impossible to do with the Switch 1 Pro controller. So at least testing it with Street Fighter tonight, I'll tell you, this was great. It actually worked really well. Now, I will use this with other Switch games in the future, too, to give you a further review, but I really liked it, okay? So tonight's stream was one video, one archive stream. I did not split this up into segments, and it is live and available on the channel right now. You can watch it in its entirety. It includes the unboxing of both of these controllers live, and me syncing them with the Switch 2 and trying them with various games. You'll probably enjoy it. It's chill vibes. I got a lot of fun out of playing this online with this controller, Street Fighter that is. It was great. The only bummer, a lot of people showed up and were like, oh, he's not doing indies tonight, and they left. And therefore, because of that, support was awful, okay? Worst supported stream I've had this year. I'm serious. It actually was the worst supported stream I did this year so far. There's not much I can do about that. Want to know the real bummer? The chat worked. So we canceled the late stream from being the indies night. On the fly, I said, let's just do this. And then the chat worked anyway. So YouTube really screwed me today by breaking their own chat like idiots, then fixing it on the fly. And then I didn't know that, so my late stream got screwed over. All right? So here's what I'll say. It's not the end of the world. This week actually so far has been a great week for me for streams, so I'm not complaining. It's not a big deal that I had a really slow support stream. Don't worry about it, okay? But it sure would be great to bounce back from this tomorrow because I wasn't expecting to have a slow stream like that. So let's see how it goes, all right? Let's talk about tomorrow, all right? Tomorrow, There will be a DSP morning show that will be shorter. I'm going to try to make it like a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes tops, so we could get into the Marathon Server Slam beta test. It's going to be live. I'm going to be playing Marathon. It's a first-person extraction shooter from Bungie. I hope it's good. It may not be, but I hope it's good. We'll find out tomorrow together, okay? So that's tomorrow's daytime stream. And then tomorrow night, Street Fighter 6, Thursday night fights. Zangief returns to online play, and it's the only Street Fighter 6 stream of the week. Why? Because Friday all day long is Resident Evil Requiem, okay? So everyone, thank you for your support during Dragon Quest. Thank you for understanding with the chat issues that I had nothing to do with it and couldn't really do anything about it. Sorry that tonight's late stream got completely screwed up and we ended up doing stuff with these controllers rather than the retro or the indie stuff that I had originally planned. It is what it is. I tried to make lemonade out of lemons. I think we still had a good time, but the people that were there had a good time. But, you know, the people who were going to support wanted to be there for the indies. There were no indies. They left. It is what it is. You know, thanks to those who did support. But, yeah, hopefully tomorrow with Marathon and Street Fighter 6, we'll bounce back, right? Thank you all. Everyone, please have a good night. I will see you in the AM. Good night and peace out.